What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update, talking about this summer's transfer affairs, and we've brought you all over the summer regarding Tapsoba and Mickey van de Ven, and we've got another update for you regarding those two, and it's pretty much the same update which we have been bringing to you all summer. But Romano says that Tottenham will do their best to give Ange Postecoglou what he needs. Spurs keep working on both Tapsoba and Mickey van de Ven, waiting to pick the best centre-back for Postecoglou. Strap yourselves in. It could be a very busy month, is what Romano says.
We've been hearing that for weeks and weeks, but to be fair, we hadn't heard it for a couple of weeks. I've been a bit starving for my Tapsoba and Van de Ven. I just need that hit of like, we're still in for them. Oh, yes, we're still in for Tapsoba and Van de Ven. Still hearing those beautiful words. So
at least it's not dead.
Exactly. At least it's like when the deal's dead, it's not happening. I'm still getting that hit of, we're still working on the deal. We're still doing it. Come on.
What are they doing?
I'm never going to get tired of that. I'm never going to get tired of that update ever. Keep hitting me every day. We're still working on Tapsoba and Van de Ven.
Seriously though, like what could they be working on for so long? Like, how long does it take you to decide, first of all, which one's the better one, and second of all, like, how to strike a deal? Like, what is going on here?
Thrashing it out, lads. Just keep going. Just take as long as you want.
So painful, man. This is so
it's ridiculous.
Painful.
Just like, what is this nonsense that we're being subject to? We've been doing, this is the same update as 6 weeks ago. So like, nothing's changed. What have we been doing for 6 weeks? Still working it out. Still interested. Just make a move. For God's sake.
It's gonna come down to the last window. Romano's gonna be like, Spurs still really like Tapsoba and Van de Ven. They just got to decide to the final minutes which one they're gonna pull the trigger on.
We're not going to decide. It's just a state of paralysis. We just don't know what we're still deciding. It's like when I don't know. It's like that feeling when you have like too many things to like select on Netflix. You just don't choose. You just keep scrolling and searching. That's what we're doing at the moment.
Literally,
we're just scrolling and searching, and they end up the window's going to close. We're like, oh, we haven't watched anything.
It's so true, man. It's so true. It's so painful seeing these updates, and it's like, it's not even like they're from different people. Like, Romano is literally just saying the same thing over and over and over again. It's just getting so tiresome.
But it did get too quiet. I'm like, once it got to like 2 weeks, I haven't heard of Van de Ven Tapsoba. I'm like, just give me, we're still interested. Just hit me with that. Hit me with it. And now here we are.
Actually, you know what? It's not even the same update, because now it's actually regressed, because like a few weeks ago, apparently we were like nearly on the borderline of signing Van de Ven. Agreement was so close.
Didn't he say, here we go soon, maybe? Didn't he?
No, he didn't go that far, but he did say that agreement is entering its final stages or something like that.
Now we're back, like maybe we'll go back for Tapsoba. It's still on. Come on, people.
At least the Tapsoba dream is still alive, people.
At this pace, in like 5 years' time, we might make a bid.
It's not like it's a pivotal position or anything.
Nah.
You know, we can give or take the centre backs.
No, this is, to be fair to Levy, he's only had the 3 years to decide what centre back he wants.
True. So cut him a bit of slack, you know.
Of course.
Let's talk about Harry Kane once again. Romano saying that August will be a crucial month for the Harry Kane deal, with Bayern Munich pushing to make it happen. Obviously, a new striker will be needed in that case. Rob Guesty is just relaying what Dan Kilpatrick said in the other update, where he says Harry Kane plans to stay at Tottenham this summer if he plays against Brentford on the 13th of August. So less than 2 weeks for that to happen. And Plettenberg is saying that Bayern package for Harry Kane is around 95 million euros now, with possible add-ons included. No new meeting between Bayern and Levy scheduled yet. All parties are confident to find an agreement as Bayern plans to improve their offer. Kane could get a contract until 2028 with option included. No doubt he would become the top earner at the club and would replace Mane in doing so.
5-year deal at 30, which is quite unheard of. I can't remember, think of too many players getting a 5-year deal at 30 years of age. But this is very much, we heard yesterday relentlessly from the German side, oh, we're still confident. It was as expected. Oh, we never thought there was going to be an agreement yesterday. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. And now we're hearing from the Tottenham side, I think. Now we're hearing Spurs. Look, from Dan Kilpatrick and Football London, Spurs regularly feed new information to them. And I think that's what we're hearing now. The Tottenham side of things is he might still sign a contract. He's not going to leave if he's still here come the opening day of the season. That's a deadline, the kind of pseudo deadline they're making, it seems. So I think that's the situation that we're hearing from, and I think it is, hopefully it'll put pressure, either it'll put pressure on Bayern to up their bid, or it might put pressure on Levy to either compromise or just keep to that stance of 100 million or he's going to be here. So I think what Plettenberg is saying, 95 million all-inclusive isn't enough. We know 100 million euros all-inclusive isn't enough. We want 100 million pounds. So depends how kind of stubborn Levy is going to be on that price. But I don't see 95 million euros, including add-ons, being accepted.
Agreed. And with the updates coming from Football London and Rob Guesty, do you reckon the tap's been turned off for Ali Gold a little bit after his Spurs being a tiny bit upset with him?
Well, he's just on holiday, I think, which means something's going to happen.
Yeah,
because Ali Gold's on holiday. But yeah, apparently Ali Gold said that he called Spurs a soap opera in one of his videos, and Spurs actually got in contact with him and said that they weren't happy with the usage of the term soap opera. And he was just wondering, like, what else do I call it? Like,
yeah,
everything that's happened.
Call it a car crash instead.
Exactly. It's probably more suitable. I thought he took him lightly, I think. Spurs should be so happy that he was generous to calling it a soap opera, to be fair.
Absolutely spot on. And last but not least, let's talk about Chris Powell, Tottenham boy, born and bred. Henry Winter says that Chris Powell has now left his role as head of coaching for Tottenham's under-17s and under-21. So it looks like we're going for a bit of a reshape for the youth.
Yeah, I wonder why this happened, but I'm sure Postecoglou will have his own person in place to bring in and coach the younger players. I think Powell, I don't know. It's hard for me to say what kind of a job he's been doing. A few young players have come through under him, but I wonder why. I don't know. It doesn't really give specifics as to why it's happened at the moment. The report's just the announcement that he's left, so it's hard to go into any details on that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we should talk about this as well just before we end the show. The Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust have been talking today, and they are planning a call to action for a protest against Manchester United regarding ticket prices. So they sent a tweet out this morning saying, THST, call to action, stand with us in the fight against matchday ticket increases. Spurs fans, today we ask you to stand with us in the fight against matchday ticket increases. There is another protest going on against Shakhtar Donetsk, led by our very own Brian Daigle. So a few protests happening regarding about matchday prices, ticket prices. And, so what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's not completely... it's not insignificant, I should say, that the Supporters Trust are the ones organising a call to action, because they don't usually go that far when it comes. They usually, write a very strongly worded letter to Spurs, or during their annual or quarterly. I don't know how often they meet up with Tottenham, but during their meetings they'll write notes and they'll give their objections to anything they don't like. But they don't usually organise a protest like this. I think this is a significant step by them, and I think it's warranted. I've said before, the price increase in Spurs is unacceptable. It's a fairly significant price increase as well. In some areas, it's up
20%
to 20%. Man United at home tickets, I think the cheapest tickets available are like 80 quid or something. Like, it's really expensive.
I believe in the north they were around 70, 71 pounds, and that's supposed to be the cheapest area in the stadium. So
that's really expensive at the moment for a lot of people who can't afford that kind of price point. I understand they're going to argue, well, the rise of inflation is meaning Tottenham putting their price up, but the fact of the matter is Tottenham already have the most, or one of the most expensive prices in Europe. And at the moment, there's a lot of goodwill going out the club, seeing as how they've neglected the footballing side for so long, and they've made very bad decisions. It's culminated in the season last season. We finished 8th. It was a disaster. The club seems directionless. Yes, I know they're trying to make steps to go in the right direction with Postecoglou at the helm and making some signings, but it's not enough at the moment to win that goodwill back, and you shouldn't be raising prices when you already have the most expensive prices in the league, essentially, and during a time when there's a cost of living crisis and inflation is bad for the regular person on the street. So I think it's absolutely right that the Supporters Trust are organising this protest. Let's hope that they've already, apparently in their meeting with the Fan Advisory Board, made clear their objections to the price rise, and it's basically fallen on deaf ears. So they've got this is the only other course of action right now. They've gone through the proper channels with Tottenham to try and get this sorted. Spurs have said, we hear your concerns, but stuff you, basically. We're going ahead with the price rise. So I think the Supporters Trust are well within their right to organise this call to action, and I don't think it'll move the needle, but at least we're going to get our voices heard at the stadium.
Yeah, and look, the fact of the matter is that when you go from Champions League football to no European football at all, how you can justify a price rise. Yes, they're going to say inflation, but then everyone else can say, what about the cost of living crisis? What about the brand that we're seeing? What about that we already had inflated ticket prices and the most expensive ticket prices in the Premier League, if not very close to the top in the Premier League? So I just can't see a way how they can justify these ticket increases, and it's pretty much a disgrace. And the only thing that they can say to us is inflation. That's literally the only thing. But then we can come back to them and say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different reasons why there shouldn't be a price increase.
Yeah, look, they need to earn their goodwill back from the fans, in my opinion. As much as yes, you could argue if fans don't take up these tickets, and there's a very long line of fans who will. So they could argue, look, there's supply and demand, and people will take up those tickets. But at the end of the day, Spurs off the pitch have been an absolute mess from a footballing point of view, from a product point of view. Yes, it's a very nice stadium, but the product we're seeing week in, week out has been a mess for a very, very long time. The hierarchy have to take responsibility for that. We thought they were kind of taking a bit of responsibility when they froze season ticket prices at the end of last season. But I think they're trying to basically get away with as much upping the prices as possible. And I think before they do that, they need to show they're moving in the right direction. They're doing the right things first. And just appointing Postecoglou is not enough. They need to show it by backing him, giving him time, showing that there's going to be improvement on the pitch and they're going in the right direction before they start asking for more money from the fans. And I think when the Sports Trust say they're abusing the loyalty from the fan base to raise prices and try and earn, they're not even earning that much more. They're just literally earning, maybe $1 million or $2 million more out of this price rise. Not even that, probably a few $100,000 more. And it's really not going to affect materially their profits right now, raising the prices. And I think what would go a long way is just a bit more goodwill, freezing prices for another season to show fans a bit of loyalty and say, look, I know we've been stuffing up, we've been screwing up a long time, but we want to show some goodwill that we're trying to make things right. Here's a price freeze for this season, and we'll show you on the pitch that we're going in the right direction. And then once they're showing that, then they can say, okay, now we can raise prices next season.
When you look at the state of the club right now, we've got our top goal scorer and arguably our best player ever in Harry Kane potentially wanting to leave the club, not signing a contract, with him going into his last year of his contract. The centre-back situation, which we've been desperate for numbers there, good numbers there for many years now, since the last stage of Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen. The club is in a complete mess. We've dropped out of Europe for the first time in many, many years. We're in complete disarray. We don't know what we're going to see next season. We're not ready for the season in any sort of shape or manner with the defensive situation. So, I mean, how can they with a normal face go and ask fans to pay 20% more in ticket prices? It's an absolute disgrace. It really is, and they need to take a long, hard look at themselves. And when you're talking about ticket price rises, if Harry Kane signed on the dotted line and he was here for the foreseeable future, we had the centre-back situation sorted, and it looks like we can, us as fans, safely say, go into the season and feel confident and feel like we're going to have a good season. Even then, it would be a bit of a stretch because we have what we've been through for the last couple of years, last 3, 4, 5 years. I think you'd still have fans complaining about it, that ticket price rise. And I think the only way they can justify a ticket price rise if we can see a better product on the football pitch and if we can see a future at this football club, which we can't see right now.
Agreed. So turn up, people, I think.
Yeah.
Go to the protest and let your voices be heard if you agree that the price rise is unacceptable.
All right, well, there you have it. That is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we brought you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.